Rakdos has returned to the Tainted Grail.
What can I do?
Don't tell anyone. What's up, guys? We're back. Part 3. A final episode, actually, of the Wyrdhunter. Since we have not been collecting the hearts from the bosses, we are just gonna stroll up to the Avalonian Wizard, the regular final boss, and stomp on him. So that happens at the end of this video. We grab a passive here. Whenever you kill an enemy, draw a card and have its cost reduced, I think. Cost reduction. Grab some more candles. Make sure our damage is as high as possible with the Weird Freak. Just one more candle. And then to the Man-at-Arms. Make sure there's nothing left to do here. Stacking back up on those fragments. Getting the draw an extra card every turn has been so huge. I definitely recommend saving up for that one after buying the necessary upgrades for him. And now here we have plenty of gold to reroll our mythical runestones into whatever powerful runestones we need them to be. We just first try got our third Gur, creating our level 2 flawless Gur. That's going to give us 100% increased damage because of our 2 weapon socket runestones. We're also going to put the 10% lifesteal on the first hit in there just for extra sustain. And keeping that flat armor increasing runestone as well. Can finish off those. Almost buy the special card. Just get trigger happy buying everything. And we're just double checking to make sure there's nothing further that we can do here. It would be great to upgrade our lifesteal rune, but not entirely necessary. Also, it would be great to upgrade the Ken rune, or sorry, the rune, that's reducing our energy cost of cards played. I think that reduces the energy cost of the 4th card played instead of the 5th when it's upgraded. And I notice now that I'm not too far away from a perfect Ethel. So we sit those down there to remind us, and we look around to see if we can make it happen now. And it's not really possible now without giving up some level 2 runes, but we have a lot of money that we can carry with us forward and hopefully use it on events in the 3rd area. Taking advantage of our full heal and buying these incredibly cheap, incredibly powerful potions to lock in the win. It would be very, very hard for a fight to take us by surprise at this point with this much resources and take us by surprise to the point where we just die. This might have been a bit excessive preparation for just the Avalonian Wizard and not even the secret final boss, but we're building up that muscle memory. Once we're fighting the secret final boss every run, and we're trying for high scores every run, then I think doing all of this extra prepping will make that time a little easier. Acid Bomb's probably a good purchase here. No Acid Bomb. Okay. Yeah, as I said, we probably don't really need it. One last look around. Goodbye, men here. Goodbye, beautiful townspeople. Into Area 3. Sprinting towards our first fight over here. checking it out because that enemy that's present right there, that model, is an enemy that multi-attacks quite a bit. We're making sure we don't have to fight too many of them, because that enemy can actually be a little scary if you don't have the passive that allows you to stun any enemy that becomes vulnerable. If you're having trouble with the Wyrdhunter, I highly recommend taking that passive. It's incredibly safe. Most of the enemies in the game can be stunned, and it's probably the second most defensive passive offered to this faction and class, next to the one that I have that's giving me 10 armor for every hit. As you can see, every time that we do a flurry like that, our armor not only goes to 75, but it goes above it. So far above it that even if we had some debuffs and some negative armor, we could power through and still achieve our maximum armor value. I think that that passive 10 armor per hit is easily one of the best. You saw how daunting the odds were against us at the start of this fight, and just with a couple quick and free attacks, we cleared the field of all of the threats and still have energy to spare. Having the first attack played be free and duplicate, the power cannot be overstated. We're really trying to get this fresh meat kill, but we've already used our ultimate, trying to see if throwing knife will lend us enough damage to get the fresh meat kill. We look for the broad reach, thinking it'll be enough, and it isn't. Super close. And now that the armor situation for us is pretty much handled, we have no problem powering ourselves up and reducing our armor with that card. The slightest breeze will kill the enemy on the left, so we don't really have to worry about defending ourselves. And now we get our discount. Fight ends on turn 2. Oop. The phone has buzzed. Throw the phone. Peace out. Alright. We could take Refreshing Breeze here. Not a bad card to take, especially because we need more zero-cost cards to get us further in the chain of our runestones. It just helps us in general save energy so that we can draw more cards, and later on we might get a year rune, and having a year rune would love for us to have a couple zero-cost stances. So Refreshing Breeze is a pretty good one here. I don't think the other two are really worth it. It was a tough choice, it seems, but definitely Refreshing Breeze. Cracked Sigil or Sigil. We get one more Ethel, which is great. We just need a single Ethel more. And I have a quest for this guy, but he won't engage with the quest. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And I have never found a use for these burnt out weird candles, but I thought that they might provide a very small amount of weird candle light. And I thought that might be pretty useful when I'm trying to get just little tiny bits of extra candle light to push us over the next tallow marker, and that should give us extra attacks with Weird Freak. So we go for it here, we raw power ourselves. We wish we had a 2-cost card in our hand to duplicate on turn 1, so this is where the draw maneuver comes in handy. I definitely think that was a very good pickup, just to ensure that our turn 1 is as powerful as it can be. We're gonna actually use one of the 5 items that we have there before we waste a energy on our draw, and we drew Weird Freak. So that's a guaranteed kill on any enemy that we want this turn. With the reduced armor, we can just remove him from the field. He actually did not die. But that's great because now we can kill him with Finishing Blow and get Finishing Blow stacking. Small Strikes is pretty good here. Where the Small Strikes land can let us know who we should be focusing. Still 2 more energy, so draw would not have been bad there either. Overhead Swing is free because we drew it with the passive. So all we have to do is keep getting kills and we will keep drawing free cards. There is a train that just rolled by. I'm sorry if that was audible in the video. We managed to almost make 2 enemies vulnerable, but that's kind of ideal if we're not going to kill them in this first turn. And you really see the power of not spending all of your ultimate charges when you use your ultimate. Retaining half the charges is huge. It truly does guarantee that you can use your ultimate at max charges every turn, if your deck is built pretty well. Overhead Strikes really starting to become lackluster cards in the deck. Another near miss for Fresh Meat. So close. Luckily, the monster on the right cannot heal itself. If you did not know that, that's actually pretty important. The monster on the right cannot heal itself. And it definitely dies to Heavy Cyclone here. We might just throw that out. It's also not really a threat to us, so we could just Weird Freak the Ogre. But Heavy Cyclone will also allow us to draw a card. And see only for 2 hits. If the burnt out tallow gave you a tiny bit of candlelight, it would be really good in a situation like this. We decided the rapid attacks is probably going to kill the enemy on the right, just like Heavy Cyclone would have, but it will also reduce the armor of the ogre heavily, which is what we were looking for. We did our ultimate there because our charges were at max, so we didn't want to not be gaining charges for these attacks we're playing, so we kind of drained our ultimate meter. He's dead. We get a refund on our Tome of Knowledge, and we put our burnt out weird candles on the bar. Trying to decide what the best setup would be. We leave it. We get offered Repeated Hits, Surprising Shout, or sorry, Stunning Shout, and Blade Fury. Not really necessary at this point. They would have been good early and could have replaced some of the options that I took. We don't need them now. Blood Frenzy also would have been pretty dang good early, but also a card we don't need. We do not need Perfect Defense. Our deck could have trended that way early, but as you can see, our defense is just fine with the overwhelming amount of damage that we're dealing. We skip. Skippy skip. We get offered start every combat with 10 ultimate charges, block every second hit, or unused block lasts an additional turn. We're going to block every second hit. Start the combat with 10 ultimate charges. Seems like it would be better, but we already max out our ultimate charges every single turn. Unless we pick that and we just never look back. I honestly think that we get the block. Because, yeah, we max out our ultimate charges already. And that only benefits us on turn 1. The block every second hit is every turn for the rest of combat. We'll block every second hit. That means we will not die. With lifesteal and the super high armor that we have, taking that passive is super safe. It means that we have already won the game. Thankfully, we get another Ken, so we can get duplicate the, what is that, 8th card played every combat, 7th card, something like that. And we have never used this before. We have always used the mythical year runestone to duplicate cards. So I was very interested to see how this one worked. We gained some max life from the kitty. And the ghost is just not worth it as an NPC. If you need the experience, you can take the fight in front of the ghost, but ultimately, the rewards you get for finding the ghost is just not worth it. So if you're in a hurry, just skip the fight. If you already know you don't need the experience, just skip the fight. And that fight looked super annoying. We skip it. Now, the altar, totally different story. That thing, a very, very good event. We take this fight for sure. We get 2 0-cost cards. These Tomes of Knowledge are proving very useful. Like I said, we just want some powerful 2-cost attack to play for free and duplicate it in the beginning. Heavy Cyclone is turning out to be a very good pick here. Gives us a lot of ultimate charges as well, especially if the board is filled with enemies. Looking at the overhead swings, wishing they were out of my deck. The perfect spread of 3 vulnerable on all of the enemies. A little awkward in this moment, actually. We have to pick a single enemy that we want to focus on, and ideally leave the other 2 at 3 vulnerable to push over the edge next turn. And I think the priority enemy to kill is the enemy on the right, surely. We cast it. We cast the overhead swing, and I think we get a double hit due to one of our passives. And you can see the runestones counting up in the top right. That's going to be the count for our duplicate. Double checking our damage. He still has quite a bit of life left. We want to get the kill with finishing blow if possible. We're thinking to ourselves, if I take him down with Wyrdhunter, will he be low enough to die to finishing blow? We're doing the math in our head, calculating the mid-range. I seem to remember that we come up short anyway. No, we got it. Yeah, there we go. Calculated. Oh, the pain. The pain inside my soul. Oh, we were so close. We got a minimum roll, maybe on 1 or 2 of those. Press the like button if you feel my pain. Comment down below if that hurt you too. We're going to try to block that out of our memory as we draw raw power at the end of the turn. We're probably going to flute here. Just save us a little bit of HP. Now that the enemy on the left is vulnerable, we should be able to kill them, and the rest of the fight will just be cleaning up worms. We start our fight with max ultimate charges. Or sorry, not the fight, the turn. Start the turn with max ultimate charges. Rapid attack on one enemy is pretty powerful. And as I've stated in every single video, these grub worm little guys do count towards all of the cards that get triggers when you get kills. Even though some of the cards say when you kill a non-summoned minion, fresh meat and other cards like it do count on these little worm enemies. You won't get the bonus if they split due to going to half HP, but you should get the bonus if the hit kills them outright. And see, now we're getting into the trend where we are actually starting every turn with a full ultimate meter. So we don't even have to rely on the attacks that we draw in the turn to ensure we get our ultimate every turn. Just throwing attacks out wildly at this point. Knowing some of them will land. We only need one block to make sure we don't take any damage. Really drawing raw power at the wrong times. And we do see our duplicate active, so we're probably just going to buff up and wait till next turn. Try to play a heavy cyclone or a rapid attacks. And we play that card just to stack up closer to our next duplicate. Because we have multiple sources of duplication. We have a talent that is active, a passive that's letting us duplicate, and we have a runestone that will let us duplicate. So right now we're duplicating only from the passive. And we did draw a lot of our good cards for the duplication. Lead with the ultimate. And that should trigger the vulnerable. A little sad they're not vulnerable first, because the ultimate would definitely kill them. But the ultimate will kill them anyway, because it will split them. So they'll either die outright or get split. There we go. And it's good to do that before Heavy Cyclone, so that the little grubs that just spawned will get smacked. We drew the draw card for free, and it will be free, so we'll just throw that out there. We drew a couple other free cards, and we check our duplicates. We're at 6 out of 8 for our duplicate, so that means we can play one of the 0-cost cards as our 7th, and then play an attack as our 8th and get it duplicated. Or we can duplicate raw power here. Let us see what we do. A lot of good choices for past self here. Small strikes. Because we had the duplicate attack. That's the attack we wanted to duplicate. Small strike's is serious business when it attacks 6 times. That's why I think it's way better on this class, the Wyrdhunter, than any other of the brethren of this class. Throw out a free block. Nobody's hitting me anyway, but that will just progress us closer towards our duplicate. And now we definitely just play the cards. Like, we always make sure we play the cards because it gets us closer to our duplicate. At the start of the turn, we can split one of these big worms with our ultimate, leaving primarily just the smallest versions of them. But we didn't. Oh, we're trying to gain life here? We're max life with the fresh meats? Okay. Try it. It's been failing us so far. We should still be able to play a free card after we play this fresh meat. Still not enough. If we overhead swing first, we should have it, right? I don't trust broad reach anymore to do it. Throw up the blocks because we don't think that we can kill? No. I either overhead swing and realize that I have a... There it is, the free. I knew we hadn't used our free spell yet. Or our discounted attack, I guess I should say. There we go. There we go. We get kills, and the next cards we draw are free. There. Perfect. And it is worth it to even play these. Especially Mark of Blood, but... just to progress towards the next duplicate. That probably was not the right target to armor reduce, but we saw he was increasing his armor. And we will try to end it quickly. Not a lot of attacks, and not a great tainted force to help us end it quickly. All maneuvers. Finishing blow should be pretty strong. I think it's gotten a couple kills this fight. I know it's gotten one. And anytime we get a kill, we get to just draw a card and have it be cost reduced. So, yep, fight ends this turn. Not too long. Almost level 20. We could have taken Hold Breath for the same reasons that we took a lot of our other zero-cost cards. I don't think we need it, though. We just straight up need it, it seems. Blood on Fire, an amazing talent, giving us huge max damage. Vulnerable. Enemies become stunned. This is what I would recommend if you're having trouble with this class. I don't take it here. I don't need it. I'm already defensive enough. First hit in combat reduces their armor. We have armor reduction on lockdown. So, Blood on Fire. We almost take shock just because even though we are very defensive, it would guarantee that we can't die. But we already took a talent that guarantees we can't die. So. And we get our last cracked Ethel that we needed. We didn't even have to do any blacksmith shenanigans for it. The game just gives it to us willingly. And it doesn't let me do the second combination on that screen for some reason. Now we have 30 increased armor off the bat. That's going to help a ton. And I would say that in general, if you're having difficulty with this game, armor is a huge help. Increasing all of the class's armor is pretty important. I think the only class that really can get away with not having good armor is the summoner classes. But still, even then, you kind of want high armor. The tree is not the greatest of events, so I don't take it. We know we only need 1 or 2 more fights to get us to level 20 anyway. So we can skip out on a lot of the fights here in the third area. We didn't mark for blood first, or Mark of Blood, because we were just so excited to throw that out. And then we just hover over it. We're like, really? Really? That could have guaranteed that we got the kill on the enemy on the right. And then we would have drawn a card for free, and then so on and so forth. It would have just been a much more powerful turn 1. And of course I have to mark for blood now, because it was silly of me not to do it before. Especially considering the target that I do it to. But maybe we would have never been able to split that guy this turn. But I can already see a better path And this is why doing these voiceovers and watching these replays is so beneficial. Because in the moment, I am worse at this game than I am sitting in the chair watching it back. That's why I always do these voiceovers in hindsight as opposed to live, because my advice in hindsight is so much better than my advice that I would give you during the run. You guys see that I pick out so many misplays that I make during the run, because just this run itself, by the end of it, has made me a better player. That on top of the fact that it's pretty easy to analyze plays critically in hindsight. Hindsight 2020 is a saying for a reason. We did manage to split the big worm in the middle there. We're just debating if we want to continue on the split path. Just keep splitting them to try to save ourselves some spawns. That does seem to be what we're trying to do here. Train in number 2 graces us with its presence. Well, hello, train. Sorry about the rumbling in the background. Alright. We're really trying to get the fresh meat kill here, but the enemies are super tanky. We want either the finishing blow kill or the fresh meat kill. It just really doesn't seem possible. We've already used our ultimate. We're going to go for the armor reduction. Overhead swing is just such a weak attack. The duplicate comes through and we get to kill, but I don't think that that counts as a kill for the card. I think we discovered in a past episode that the duplicate hit does not count as the kill for the card. If the card itself is duplicated, it might count, but if the hit is duplicated, I don't think it does. We get one of the best tainted forces there. Armor reduction across the board. They're all looking pretty naked and vulnerable up there, and we draw our area of effect. This should be the final turn. Well, I don't know, because those grubs can split many times, but this should be a very strong turn, especially because our ultimate hasn't been used yet. And we're going to use it before we rack up all these hits. Geez, that's a lot of damage to an enemy that's not vulnerable. And that top end is so high, that range is so high because we got Blood on Fire. That 6 max damage plays a huge role when you're stacking multiplicative damage. Heavy Cyclone. Double kill, we draw 2 cards and have their cost reduced. Unfortunately, one of them was already 0, but throw out the rapid attack. And now Hold Breath and Refreshing Breeze are really good. Oh, such a good cost reduce. We got the cost reduce of the card that was going to get a kill no matter what. Refreshing Breeze gives us an energy to play any card we want. Probably Finishing Blow on that little grub on the left. Get the kill with it. Mark for blood the grub on the right. Not really a need to, but could. Oh, wow. Interesting. Oh, I did that so that I could actually get a good use out of the Mark of Blood, sorry. Alright, past self. I see you. Fresh meat gives us some life. Even though that counts as a summoned enemy. And we abuse our 0 cost cards to get closer to our duplicates. Not a lot of great attacks to really duplicate here. Somehow made it this far into the turn without using the ultimate. And hopefully we can get another fresh meat. We're like, and we might as well just stun. Why not? And as soon as we see the heavy cyclone, we're like, okay, it's over. Just play the cards. Let it end. And I think from that fight on, now we just really start steamrolling. I think that, yeah, we're offered these. You should be able to tell from watching our deck those aren't important to us. Get a second lore rune, giving us potential to maybe get that better lifesteal if we need it, but we're really not hurting for something like that. This part crushes me. So this used to not be max HP. This used to be damage. I Need to Forget used to be damage, but I didn't realize it was changed. So I'm like, oh, awesome, I Need to Forget. Windmill Slam, 5-card removal. This is going to make our deck insane. I'm going to remove the overhead strikes. I'm going to remove the stun, the blocks. We're going to be strong. We're going to be powerful. We're going to be unkillable. I'm just super excited for it. Only powerful attacks left in the deck. But there's one thing that I switch up here. I think I remove Mark of Blood. Maybe I don't do it now. No, I think I do it later. But I know I'm not going to need Mark of Blood in the final fights. But for right now, I think I take the removal the way that I have it set up here. I'm considering removing Mark of Blood, but I think that I need it now, but I'll eventually want to ditch it later. I deselected the attack. In my mind, I'm thinking having a single target attack is nice and not having it be random like small strikes, but I'm wrong. I should remove the attack. Small strikes is so much better. I did remove the Mark of Blood. I did. Yeah, I knew I did. But I look at my life and just horror. Like, I'm just like, why did my max HP go to 50? All this time stacking up max HP with fresh meat, building it up. Now I can kind of be killed by a stray bad turn. Right? Like, if I have a really bad turn and can't block and can't cost reduce, sorry, my apologies, can't damage reduce, then I could just die at 50 HP. That's pretty dang scary. All those potions that I have don't really mean much when my max life is so low. So now I really got to be on the top of my game and make sure I don't slip up. But at first I thought that that was a bug, but I have reinvestigated and it does say max HP. It does clearly state on there max HP loss. We are given the option between rapid attack and heavy strike, or sorry, heavy cyclone duplicate. And we choose the rapid attack because the rapid attack permanently reduces armor. Heavy cyclone only temporarily reduces it. So we'll get the permanent armor reduction spread across the board. See who's close to death. Yeah, we were like, time to start stacking our life back up. I was going to remove fresh meat at some point, but now we absolutely need it. Unfortunately, the card we draw there was already 0 cost, because it would have been, regardless of how much it cost. Pretty much. Not the best Tainted Force, but pretty good in this situation when we have an enemy that's vulnerable. Oh, we actually use it to trigger vulnerable. Yeah, he's the enemy that's hurting us, so he's the enemy that needs to die. But as you can see with how much damage he's doing, even with my 75 armor, he would kill me if I didn't have any blocks. That's pretty scary. Weird Freak gets the kill on either of them. I think I do decide to go for the grub. I always call them grubs, but they also probably have a proper name. I learned the phase shifters. I can learn the proper name of one monster per video until I know the proper names of the monster. Oh, I just saw it. I wasn't paying attention though. And I don't want to pause. We'll hover over it again. It's gotta be grub something, right? Look at it. Dang it! It's too fast. Hover over. It actually seemed like it kind of had like a longer name. It's not worth it enough to me to pause it. Someone in the comments help me. I'm too lazy. Alright, I'm watching intently. Rakdos, yes, that's me. Hover over them. Yes, me, Rakdos. Nope. It's not going to give it to me, is it? At this point, I'm playing very quickly because I know my deck and I am close to the end of the run. So, odds are I'm really not in ultra contemplative state. I'm more in like finish this out state. So I'm less likely to get caught in those long webs of thinking. That's it. Just hover over. Oh. It flashed there for a moment. I'm pausing. I don't even care. I can't rely on the comment section for this one. I need to know what their name is now. Something grub. It's a tormented grub. It literally had grub in its name. I saw it. Yes. Yes. It's beautiful. That actually makes me incredibly happy. My day has been made. They're grubs. Heavy Cyclone, super good here. We're going to be able to save a lot of spawns by killing these three in the middle first, if we can. Oh, so close. Our sloppy play, I think, is really showing. Because I think we played that pretty poorly. We're going to take damage now. Try to get our life back up. Oh my goodness. 4 HP. It kills me. Yeah, we're taking damage here. Oh, maybe not with the rapid attack. Rapid attack could pull us through. Nice. Nice. Now we could not take damage. We have a path to not take damage if we want to. We can use the flute. We'd be fine. The third train of the video. I can't tell if that's lucky. Unlucky? Well, I'm just happy these things are grubs. Yeah, see, I took some damage. I should have used the flute there because it's not like there's going to be a better turn in the future for me to flute. The fight is very close to being over. But 5 life, no big deal. I have so many potions. Even if I have to chug one to heal 5 HP, it's fine. I'm more concerned about just being killed outright. Get a stack for finishing blow. We get a discounted heavy cyclone. Drawing more cards. It's over. And we hit our final mastery. We get the choice between perfect defense, targeted block, and inhuman utterings. We take none of those. We don't need any. We can do aggression. When you hit an enemy, gain 3 ultimate charges instead of 1. We already get max ultimate charges. Ultimate ability targets all targets, or increase the damage of ultimate ability by 250%. We don't care about hitting all targets because we're already killing all the enemies. And we're going to be fighting one enemy here soon, just like a single boss. So we'd rather just our ultimate do a lot more because it's so guaranteed to be maxed out. We take these removals here. Definitely the attack card, I would say, is our removal here. Good old-fashioned attack. And now that we have our level 20, there's not really a need to take fights unless we really want the event behind them. I don't remember what the shadowy figure does, or the shadowy priestess does. And I'm like, oh snap, I think that's important. So I take the fight. A lot of beefy boys here, super, super beefy, but we get a great tainted force to reduce their armor. So I wouldn't even doubt if we can kill most of them in this first turn here. When their armor's already this low, I don't think duplicating Heavy Cyclone is bad, but the permanent armor reduction of rapid attack is hard to pass up. Plus you get vulnerables. You get so many more vulnerables from the rapid attack than you do this Heavy Cyclone. Heavy Cyclone really doesn't like trigger vulnerables like rapid attack does. I can double rapid attack and see who gets vulnerabled up and then adjust my game plan from there. Something's telling me my past self Heavy Cyclones here. I do. Okay. See, I've learned since past self, and now upon rewatching, it's very clear to me that the rapid attack start is much better. But back when I was recording this, they did not. It wasn't that obvious. It seemed to me that it was actually a little bit better to do things the other way around. And they still get a huge armor reduction from that for this turn, and if we can capitalize on it, then it might have even been correct. But finishing blow here is pretty good. We're gonna need to draw a card for 0, and it ended up being Weird Freak. Huge. That's another kill. Look at this. It did not matter how much HP these dudes had. Small Strikes is really good when there's this few enemies. And now Rapid Attacks is just going to tear up. Stacking up tons of vulnerability. Fresh meat. Almost enough to get the kill. Small Strikes will kill on its own. So it's going to be a little tricky for me to get this fresh meat kill. I got it. The broad reach was enough. Get a mythical runestone, polished ing. Nothing I can really use during this run. Cool nonetheless.
Thank you for saving my son.
Run into her. We remember that she's the runestone exchanger. I don't think I've given her her runestone yet. I don't know how to tell which one she wants. I always just give her some common cracked runestone. And this time is no different. We grab the consecrated oil, though. That's really good. And the Berserker Potion can be good. And off to fight the Treasure Hoard. Treasure Hoard encounter of the 3rd area. And in my opinion, the absolute easiest Treasure Hoard fight in the whole game. This guy has never posed a challenge to me. Putting it very lightly. Let's see if we can turn 1 kill him here. Rapid attacks could kind of screw us if they hit him, because he blocks all attacks to him directly, but it looks like most of the hits went to the other targets. We'll be counting on small strikes to do something similar here for us. Nope, we decide not to rely on small strikes for that and go for the guarantee with the heavy cyclone. Nice. The vulnerables have been triggered, and now every card we play will get a kill. Do I need to pop a torch? I do, just for safety. That's a safety torch right there. Safety candle, my apologies. We get the divine oil. Now the trick is to not play the divine oil. If you're having trouble with this guy, don't play the divine oil, because every single time you get a kill, he loses armor. So you want to get a couple kills on his burning minions, whatever, before you start casting your divine oil. So I've gotten 2 kills. He loses even more armor. He could probably die now, but I want to get a third. And all of the units lose armor every time you get a kill, so it's easier to kill the other ones. So now I've stacked up 3 divine oils, and his armor's super low. Now he's really dead. If I low roll on all these oils, he lives, but I don't. And I have other things that boost up attacks, so I actually got a duplicate on one of the oils. Weapon slot, weapon slot. Oh, the disappointment. We could take a combat slot, but really we're not fighting the secret final boss, so we're not going to get a lot of use out of that. Almost done here. I'm going to take this fight. It doesn't really matter how tanky the enemies are now. It does kind of suck fighting these grubs because they just take so long and so many rounds to kill. We got a great Tainted Force there, 200% increased damage. Let's see how many layers of grubs we can chew through on this turn 1 here. Bam, bam, double heavy cyclone. That's good damage. That's respectable damage. Should just throw that berserk out. Now we're trying to pop the biggest grub first. We want them all to be at the same kind of level. Fill up the board and save ourselves some spawns. 52 max HP. We've gotten 1 fresh meat kill since we sacrificed all our life away. And as you can see there, we did not gain HP even though the enemies split. That's because they split when they go down to half HP, and that was a half HP split, not a killing blow, if that makes sense. Nice. No need to draw here with no energy. I don't think we could really do much. We could actually draw another refreshing breeze. Never mind. After looking at my deck, I decided it's totally worth it to do that. I think that was turn 1, so I think this is turn 2. Let's see if we can... Nah, they have a lot of armor. This is at least going to last until turn 3. Heavy Cyclone really coming in handy, though. That was a super good pick. We save ourselves a tier 2 spawn there. Really good. Just saved ourselves like 4 little grubs. 8 little grubs. We're doing good. If we can kill that one on the left, that'd be really nice. Free broad reach. Alright, we just wanted to get the kill. We wanted to get the kill guaranteed so that if we draw into that card, it's a guaranteed kill on whoever else we play it on. And we have our duplicate ready. Yeah, duplicate heavy cyclone should finish us up here. Yay, we get some more max HP. 54. Finishing blow keeps stacking. And now you see how strong our deck is after we've gotten rid of all of the weak attacks. That made our deck so much more powerful. We don't have to draw all that junk. All of our draws are spectacular. Did we really leave one dude left? No, we didn't. Nice. Cool. Alright, on to the last boss of the third area. I have been very anxious for you guys to see this fight. I remember what happened during this fight. This was a really fun one. And of course, we're going to buy this guy all the way out, steal out every runestone from his body, leave him full of holes. And then we look and we see nothing can be changed or altered, combined from what we just bought. We bought 2 of things we did not have previously. So we roll straight into the boss, making sure our items are the right items. No need to pop the torch before we walk in, because we wanted that tainted force to be generated before we pop our torch. Now that we've just lost that candlelight, we can pop our candle, and go back up to maximum. We get an armor reduction, tainted force. Pretty lucky. And against one enemy, there's no reason not to just rapid attack. And rapid attack against one enemy, 12 attacks. Yeah. The boss has ×4 vulnerability. Yes. That did say 17,000. Yeah, that did. Yeah, he's dead. Yeah. So good. So good. I'm going to remember that boss kill for a while. That was probably the fastest third area boss kill I've ever had. If you're having trouble with the Wyrdhunter, I hope this video series helped. This was really fun to do. Thank you again for requesting it. I'm going to be working on the next videos here shortly. I greatly appreciate you guys watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and as always, peace.